You know, I can't decide whether Elite has gotten worse and dumber, or if I've just grown up and gotten smarter. I don't know. Hey everyone, it's Mia, and today I am going to be reviewing the third season of Elite, which is how I've always pronounced the show, but apparently it's pronounced Elite. Elite. Look, I feel like I'm just gonna butcher the pronunciations of every name in this review. Anyway, so the thing about this show is that I first watched it when I was 16 in 2018. So yeah, that was when the first season came out, and I remember being absolutely enamored by this show. I was like, damn, this is so smart. This is like the perfect show in my head, because I really like murder mysteries, but it's also set at a private school and there's all these characters and a lot of drama, and I was like, damn, I really like this. And also, I also said that I really liked the show because I thought it was a little bit more smarter than the typical teen drama. Like, it wasn't just total trash. And I'm not hating against trash shows, like I love Gossip Girl as much as the next person. Anyway, so I really liked season 1, and then last year came season 2, and I was like, you know what? Maybe this show is a bit more trashier than I remember, but it's still fun nonetheless. And recently, well, when I say recently, I mean last night, I finished season 3. And I'm not sure if my younger selves thought that the show was better than it was, or if it's actually gotten worse. Honestly, this season was kind of disappointing, and yeah, I just didn't like it as much. So I'm just going to be reviewing season 3 and talking about how I think that it could have been improved and what its downfalls were, but also the parts that I liked. So yeah, also this is going to be a spoilery video, so if you haven't seen season 3 yet, please leave, but I really don't think you're missing out on much if you're spoiled, because honestly. So the first thing about this season is that I think that the mystery is just weaker in general, and I think season 2's mystery was pretty weak as well. I think all of the mysteries pale in comparison to the first season's mystery because, you know, it's a murder, it's the first murder, whereas these two mysteries in the past 2 seasons have been contingent on the first season, and it just feels like the whole storyline and everything is being dragged out. So basically, from the trailer, you already know that Polo's dead. The thing is, I feel like this mystery is weaker because, first of all, every viewer really doesn't like Polo because he's a murderer. It's not shocking that he's dead because we can probably figure out what the motive is really easily. I feel like the audience hates Polo or doesn't like him. I mean, if you like Polo, okay, but I feel like because the audience, or me at least, didn't like Polo, then we're less inclined to care about who killed him. I know the mystery is more about how did it get to this situation where Polo was murdered, but I think that the mystery is just weaker. Whereas in season 1, I'm pretty sure that at the beginning we didn't know who was the victim who had died until later in the season. So maybe to improve this season, they could have added that, like made it more of a mystery that he had died or something along those lines, because I think that as soon as we know that Polo's dead, it's like, I don't really care as much, you know, because I don't really care about him. So going on from that, the whole thing with Polo is so drawn out. Like, I think that they should have resolved the Polo thing in season 2, and then at the end of season 2 have some new mystery, and then that part take the end of season 3, because Polo not going to jail and everyone hating him is just drawn out for way too long, and it just feels kind of tiring. So another thing about the mystery is that it all happens at this party, and I liked the aspect where all of the characters help each other to protect Lou, but at the same time, Lou killing Polo, I just think that it was kind of dumb because, first of all, she's drunk, which, I mean, it's just like not an interesting enough reason for her to murder Polo, and also it was an accident, which I know it has to be an accident for everyone to help her, but it's just not as satisfying. And also, what actually leads her to murdering Polo is this dumb argument that they have where Polo is taunting Lou for seemingly no reason. Like, why is he taunting her other than to be malicious? It doesn't really make sense. It feels like the whole argument that they have is really contrived, especially as Polo had gotten his mums to reinstate the scholarship that Lou had won. So why is he suddenly being really mean to her? Like, I don't know, I think there were a lot of instances in this season where things were just forced rather than seeming more organic. So that brings me to another plot aspect of this season that kind of irritated me, which is I feel like there were no actual consequences. I feel like people would do terrible things to each other, but the next episode, everyone's all friendly again. So one of the things is Rebecca. She gets backstabbed by Samuel because he plants the bug, but then, like, I feel like they have like one little fight and then it's over. Basically, if there's no consequences, then why should the audience care? The plot would have been stronger and we would have cared more if there were actual consequences for everything that occurred. I'm saying consequences so much, but I hope you get my point. So now that I've talked about plot, I'm going to talk about a similar thing, which is characters. Now, in season 1, I loved the characters. Now, I'm not saying that the characters are morally good, but I'm just saying that I really liked watching them and learning about their lives. I thought they were all really interesting and well-defined. But in this season, the characters, I think in this season, the writing is kind of poor, where you have to see that the actors are like the only ones holding up their characters because everything else is just not making sense. Like, for example, the characters in this season don't change, they're all the same, they don't really develop, except there was one thing, Nadia and Lou forming their friendship, and that was really good to see. I really liked that because they're actually changing, and it's like, yeah, it was like one good character thing, but I feel like all the other character things are really weak. Like Guzman, I guess he forgives, but not really. Polo is literally the same. I mean, I guess he grapples with his guilt, but like at the end he's gonna confess, but at the same time, no one cares about him. In my personal opinion, I just think that the characters didn't really experience enough change, and the lack of change meant that there was a lack of opportunity for the writers to talk about deeper issues. Because in my head, and I don't know if this is me just being 16 when I was 16, but I thought that Elite was really smart and I thought that it talked about things in more depth. Whereas here, I just feel like everything was super shallow. Like Lou was a really strong character this season. And I think that's partly because the actress who plays her is like really good, but also because she did transform and, you know, she doesn't have her money anymore. And so that does make her change. Whereas other characters who might go through certain situations don't really seem to learn anything from it or develop from it. And I don't know, I just feel like a lot of the characters were flat. And honestly, while I was watching it, I was like, you know what? I don't really care about any of these characters, which is kind of sad because you have to care about the characters to enjoy the show. Like the only character I really liked was Lou, and then all the other characters, some of them I liked just because of my previous attachment to them, but like I didn't really care about the characters too much, which is a pity. Okay, so I know that I've just complained about the season for as long as I have, but there are good things. Like, even though I just hated on the characters, I still think that they're super interesting, and yeah. And there's lots of other things I like about the show as well. I really like the sets and the clothing. You can just tell that it's well made, and the actors are good. I mean, they seem good to my eyes, except I feel like Guzman, I don't know, I feel like he didn't really show any emotion. Sometimes I watched his character and I was like, is the actor even trying? I don't know, that sounds mean. Oh, I liked the last scene. So the last scene is some of the characters returning to the school because they didn't graduate. So there is Samuel, Guzman, Rebecca, Omar, Valerio. And there's also, I can't remember how to pronounce her name, but I know how to spell it because I read the subtitles, like Cayetana. Anyway, she's there as well, but she's a cleaner. And I thought that last scene was really interesting. And I was like, oh, this is kind of making me interested in the next season. And I did some research, as in I read the Wikipedia page, and seasons 4 and 5 have been confirmed. So yeah, this makes me wonder what will happen in the next season. I'm glad that all of the Polo stuff has resolved because finally maybe we can get a new mystery that's actually interesting. And will we have those characters, and will all the other characters who went away stay away? And will we just have a brand new cast? I'm really interested to see what will happen in the future. And hopefully by, you know, creating some new characters and starting a brand new mystery, the show can revitalize itself and become better and become as good as the one that I remembered it to be in season 1. So yeah, I'm excited to see what will happen next. Even though this season was kind of a disappointment, I still like the show. Like, it's still one of my favorites. So yeah, tell me what you thought of this season. Did you like it, or did you kind of feel the same way I did? And also, tell me what you think season 4 will be like, because I'm excited. I know some people don't want to see a season without some of the main characters, but you know, I'm still excited anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you want to see more videos like this, then consider subscribing. That's it for this video. Bye!